Okay. Hello everybody. Welcome back to the Trident build, part 5. We are going to continue where we left off. The bed wiring. I had neglected to run the ground wire, so I did that in between camera, and then I put a twist in my Thermistor wire since I'm running a PT100 on the bed, and extended it down here underneath the deck because I wasn't quite long enough. So we're gonna get started. Howdy everybody in chat. Bear, you're starting a Magic Studios guinea pig kit. That sounds interesting. I'd be curious to see how that goes. So feel free to message me or whatever if you have any comments or questions on that. Kevin, Ari, and Jaeger. So let's see. So last stream I had a lot of problems with my webcam. I suspect they were due to a USB extension that I was running. So I'm hoping we don't have those problems today. So we shall see. I tried the iPhone app and it was terrible. Very low frame rate. It's just one that I tried. I didn't try both of them. The other one I was going to try was I think like $18, and I decided not to try it yet. I figured I'd try this again. So let's just get started. Let's finish up this under bed wiring, and I'm gonna start with the AC wires here and plug them into the Wagos. Put these on the ends, and we're going to tie all these into these zip tie anchors when we're done. Those are going to go there. My ground wire that I had forgot last time, I'm going to pull a little bit of this through the chain. Go over the bed, and then take a M3 with a washer and anchor it to the threaded hole in the bottom of the bed. I am hoping to get through almost all of the wiring today, and then maybe just one more stream doing configuration and first start. So we'll see how that goes. So ground wire in, and then my end stop wire, which I'll have to pull through as well. Now I gotta get it past all these other wires that I put under there. Let's just go this way. Let's see. Can everybody hear me okay? Last time I was using my headset microphone, this time I stuck with the camera. Just lift this a little bit. Awesome, thanks Kevin. Okay. Last wire to connect is the Thermistor wire, which I used a 2-pin microfit for. So now let's see if we can tidy this up a little bit. A couple of zip ties. harness kit. This little short zip ties that came with it. You're welcome, Kevin. Are you working on building one? So zip ties go through here. Just going to grab all the wires, just loosely. Loose it first, and then figure out which ones I have to tug through the chain. We want to be somewhat careful with wire management here because at maximum Z travel there isn't a lot of room between the there's just a few millimeters between the bottom of this bed and the deck if you wanted to hit the max 250-ish Z height. So, these don't have to be super tight, but I'm sure I'm thrilled with grabbing that microfit connector there. Oop. So I'm going to redo that one. Pull that through over here. And just let it hang out right here. Hey Sanity, how you doing? We'll probably go, I'm expecting to go about 3 hours today. Oops. Okay. Turn the ends. And then there's one more zip tie location. I think you can see it right here. And then just kind of the IGUS chain makes it a little more difficult to hit that angle, but we're not gonna, this is just controlling the wires, not necessarily holding them tight. We want them to be able to move a little bit, so I'm just gonna, not necessarily tight, but just controlling them. And then I think I've checked well enough that all the wires along the, all these wires are going to be long enough to hit where they need to go. So the next, there's one more zip tie we need to do. Let's go down here. Oh yeah, you get to see my mess. There's a zip tie on the, oops, sorry. Oh, and I don't know that I can hit that with the IGUS chain. You can hit it with the generic chains, no problem. But there's a tie mount down here. I may have to look at that. So I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not too concerned about movement on the Z wires. So we'll just let that go. What do we got? That's higher than Sanity. I think it's pretty equivalent. It may use a little less because on for your gantry wire has to also go through Z treble through your Z chain. So compared to V2, a Trident should use still a little less wire compared to a V1. Obviously, significantly more because you don't have the backpack anymore. Okay, let's hit the bottom of the printer. Let's figure out what best angle is for that. Crushing anything, and I wonder if we can get a little view here. Let's try that. Okay, so we have all our wires coming through here. I'm going to work on the AC wires first, so we'll pull the thermistor and end stop wires out of the way. We have our manual up, so we got the Z chain installed. These are the zip tie locations for the bedside, and then the frame side. This is the location I was trying to hit, but it appears that the let me take that back. Maybe I can get a better angle just to show you. You can see it right there. It's not focusing. It wants to focus somewhere else. But maybe I can hit that. Maybe from this angle. Oh yeah. Just a little bit of wire control. Okay, so let's go back to the manual. So here's our bed cable hookup. Let's see. We've got our let me look something up real quick. Neutral blue, so we're gonna go. Okay. So yeah, that's right. We're gonna take this one to our blue Wago. Which one is this? This is going to be the one that goes. This is the longer one, so yeah, that's fine. Let's go here. So we're going to loop this around and go into our neutral Wago. Just make sure I have enough wire in case I want to change this later. Do the same. A lot of little extra pieces of white heat shrink, or you usually do, from my for my label maker, because there's always the extras at the end of the labels. So I saved those so I can use them for things like this. Since I got white wire here, might as well keep it. I'm not sure, Kevin, if we'll get to actually running it today. I will probably plug in power and confirm before we plug anything into the other side of the power supply. I'm going to make sure that we're getting just general checks, make sure the wiring's correct, getting an output. But I still need to, I'm hoping to get the entire harness installed, install the stepper drivers. I think that's going to take a significant amount of time though. So I'm hoping to get to the point where it's just startup checks and configuration for the next stream. So, but we'll see. Okay, so that's going to go there, and then the other one goes to the load side. So let's go over here. Plenty of wire here. Do something like that. Yeah, but I really hope, next, at the very latest, next stream is firing it up. I'm going to move on to other projects. Okay, I'm going to do some real quick heat guns, so I'll put you on mute. Couldn't quite reach from the other plug. Okay, so the next project is going to be doing some refresh stuff on the Legacy, which is sitting right there on deck, so to speak. This one's actually getting then after the Legacy will come some work on the switch wire. I think the switch wire will be more work than the Legacy. Although I'm swapping out the controller case, the Pi, and the Z steppers on the Legacy. Okay. Let's bend these down. And we just need to complete the circuit. So where did I put the brown wire? There it is. Then after that, who knows? I have no idea. This is going to just go straight down. Oops, sorry, try not to get my head right in the way. About there. I have very little room for any more printers. As it is, I had to build a bigger workbench to fit what I have. Let's see if we can get a better view with camera 2 on what I'm doing here. Oh, you can see I cleaned up these, made a new blue wire so things route a little cleaner. And then I gotta squeeze up in here and install this guy. There we go. Okay, so I think that completes that portion of the bed wiring. We still have to do the input side, but we'll do that when we get to the controller. Now I am going to grab a power cord. Confirm first, because I haven't done that, that the power supply is good. There's very little chance of it not being good, but very little chance of it not being good, but we're going to double check. So the Wago mount is based off the mod from, let's see if this actually works. Let's go, Voron, user mod, GitHub. to the page. We are going, oop, where am I at? I want to go legacy because I think this isn't in the newest ones. Printer mods, and then there's this GSL 12. This is what I've based all of my Wago mounts off of, are these. And let me bring this up. They fit. There's probably, I mean, I've seen quite a few variations on this that I like. I just happen to be using these. So the right angle connector that you see there on the in the shots, this guy up in here is a variation on that, but I made that. I believe I posted it in the Trident channel. If you can't find it, let me know. I can post it again. So we are going to just plug in power. And I got this ridiculously long power cord, all that I had really handy, so we're just gonna let this be a mess. Everything's off, switch is off. Okay. My multimeter. And okay, I'm gonna give this a once over, just making sure everything looks reasonable. Let's turn it on. Now, does this power supply have a LED? It does not appear to, but let's find out. Let's see, we're on voltage. We are on DC voltage. And I'm gonna come in from this angle, because we know what happens when you come in from this angle. And I am not getting anything. I am not getting anything. Let's make sure we don't. And I did not replace that power cord. I completely forgot to order something. I'm not getting anything. What am I missing? I've got ground. Here, let me do this. I have got ground. I've got hot, neutral. Nothing is getting mixed up. Pull this out of the equation. That's funny, Kevin. You are spot on. You are spot on. Now that you mention it. Now that you mention it. You're right. I realize this doesn't come with a fuse in there. I feel dumb, but whatever. There we go. I'll put that back in there. Do another once over. Everything's good. Okay. I plugged it in with the switch on, but whatever. Woohoo! We have voltage. Okay. Okay, let's get all this crap out of the way now. I know that that is okay. Hi, Tony. We are just over afternoon here. Where are you at? Okay. Back to it. We've got main power. So we've got these wires that came with the kit, with the Linneo kit. We are going to... Okay, so I brought up... I also have the Big Tree Tech Octopus wiring guide. Yes, Sandy. That's Charlie is a shed like crazy. He's around somewhere. He's not in my garage. Okay, so I brought up the so Big Tree Tech has this little Voron wiring diagram. It just seemed to be a pretty reasonable starting point for connections here. So we need power. So what is their main power? One of these is stepper power and one's bed power, and they all have to be jumped together. So what I'll probably do is stack up to 2 spade connectors on these. If Charlie wanders in here later, I'll bring him up. Probably around here. Okay. So let's just... This is just going to take a little bit of time. Stripping and crimping. And I'm going to gently move this thing just a little bit out of the way. Oh man, yeah, I've got... Let's take those. And I just have such a hard time looking at this stuff up close without my magnifiers. I know this part is thrilling, but I don't think it'll take all that long. Let's see, probably want a little bit of angle here so I can see what I'm doing here. We're going to test lengths here. So I'm just going to go about there. So while you guys are focused on me doing a bunch of crimping, I don't have, I thought I was going to have an immediate need for that LGX extruder set up, so, but I may not. It may be available for this, and in any case, I've built them all, so it's easy enough to swap them around. But let's get a little informal poll here going in chat. What extruder setup should I put on this? Galileo, Clockwork, or the LGX? I got all 3 of them built. We did that in stream, what was it, 2 or 3? So we have just first one I grabbed here. This is the Galileo. We have regular afterburner clockwork. And I kind of figure it won't clockwork. And then this is the LGX. What I'm not happy with the wire cover setup. I tried to reuse the cable chain mount, but that means since the LGX stepper is, I think it's 23 millimeter. What is it? We spec a 20 millimeter stepper for clockwork, but it's a 25 millimeter stepper. The bolt length, so the way this works, a little aside here, is, let's take the wire cover off to get it out of the way. So the way this works is we replace the 2 screws holding the stepper together to hold the cable chain mount. The length of this screw can't be too long, or the mounts for the LGX going into the stepper won't tighten. So this bolt length here is critical. A 25 millimeter bolt is just too long. So I cut both of these down to about 24 millimeters, maybe a hair under, in order to make this work. I don't like that as a general solution though. So, and I haven't had a ton of time to sit down and try to come up with something else. I'd like to do something probably that utilizes some of the mounting holes around here, maybe, but that would mean a new cable chain mount, which I guess isn't the worst idea. It's possible for me to use an ERCF on this. I have, ooh, that cat hair is terrible, sorry. I have a, I think a 1.0 kit on its way to me that I got from a friend, that I'm going to update to 1.1 and probably play around with. That could be a good stream content. Where was we? Sorry for getting distracted, but I guess we'll just continue with the power wiring. So what am I seeing? Galileo or LGX? Ooh, if I do Galileo with the ERCF in mind, I probably have to reprint parts of it, right? For the sensor, for the filament sensor in it. That's not a terrible thing. This is gonna go just one over, so I don't need a lot of length here, and I probably need to make a couple of these. Tony, ERCF is a multi-filament, or an auto filament change, basically similar to the Prusa MMU, in that you have several filament paths coming in, and it's a device that automatically selects and switches the filament for multi-material, multi-color printing. Okay, let's see how well this is going to work. Okay, that'll work okay. That'll work okay. I think I got one more to do. This one's okay. I don't know if it's a mismatch in wire size to terminal size, but if you see me doing extra work on these, I'm taking some of the strands and folding them over to give more meat to clamp onto. I was having trouble last stream with them pulling through, so are all these the same? The ground. Now I get to do the positive. It's workable. The vacuum let my feet when this is done. Hundreds of strands of little strands of wire. It's 18 gauge. 0.75 square millimeters, I think, or something like that, but equivalent to about 18 gauge. It came in the Lineo wiring harness kit, which we'll get to a lot of today. We'll get a real good look at that. And I'm testing all of these just to make sure they don't pull out immediately. Something like that. Let's see. If I were to build another one of these, anything smaller than 20 gauge. A good wire stripper is very important with PTFE. I'd be concerned with at least the Remington or other 20 gauge wires with all of them. The bend radius on this isn't as, or at least it's a lot stiffer than the 24 gauge. I'd lean more towards 22 or 24. Jared, I don't think we'll quite get to motion today. We'll see. I did preload the Pi, but not a configuration. Yeah, this is the PA06. Okay, back to this. I can't read the text on the screen with my with these magnifiers unless I get in real close, and then you're staring at the back of my head and my cat-covered shirt, so cat hair-covered shirt. So I'm trying to avoid that. I'm going to try tweaking my computer setup here after this series is done. Just try different things. I try to put the camera behind my computer setup so I'm talking more at the camera instead of in front of it and away from it. But I didn't want to change things in that area drastically on this stream. And I'm getting an error in the stream software. What's going on? Does everything look okay? YouTube is telling me it's not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. Is it just because I'm not doing a whole lot here? Are we getting anything? Drops on France, it's fine again. Okay. Okay, well, we'll just go with it. I'm gonna go ahead and just make another one of these right now. Oops. Okay, now let's get all of these installed and then we can move on. There we go. A little bit of a mess of wires there, but I guess it's not too bad. Slide this back down there, clip the cover back in, and then confirm with the wiring diagram here. I think we got it correct. We'll run a couple of lower gauge wires to the output for the SSR later. I've found Gixxer, is that like GIF? Gix or Gix? Gixxer Fast. I found these, holy moly there. These are 5 times reading glasses I got off Amazon. I've still found these are much nicer and more flexible, even if I have to keep swapping them, than trying to use one of these. I have around here somewhere one of the head mounted flip up magnifiers or a desktop mounted version. Okay. We've got thermistor and end stop. I think those are just going to go straight down and then over to wherever they go. We've got steppers. Do the same. Okay, let's look at this, what they're saying. This is a V2 diagram here, so this isn't quite what I want to do, but I'm just looking at what the general layout is. So motor 0, motor 1, X, Y. Oh, and this is, okay. So we'll go Z0, Z1, Z2. Now, it really doesn't matter where you plug your steppers in as long as you match it in your configuration. So I just want to do something that's going to make sense. So really looking at this with stepper wire lengths and routing in mind is why I'm paying attention. So if I want to take this down, and then I need to get some little tape on zip tie anchors probably for the bottom of the deck to hold these wires. But if I take that around there, and then I've got X, Y, and then the 2Z. I'm going to use one of them. Okay, that's what I'll do. So X, Y, Z, and then this is Z1, so I'm going to take that one to right there. So a little bit extra. I'm gonna probably cut that right there. And this is when you just do it or always cringe. Always cringe. This will probably move over a little bit more this way too. So that'll give me plenty of room. So let's go ahead and grab the, what do we have here? I've got a drawer down here with all my JST stuff. For some reason, this JST kit I had came with a bunch of male terminals, and I'm not quite sure why. I gotta dig for the, there we go, for the other terminals. Wow, that's the last of the female terminals in there. That makes sense. Okay, so I need 4 of these. iWis, I think they're 2820. I have not tried the engineer version, but I haven't had any trouble with these. These have been great. Okay, so blue, red, green, black. Let's get this done. So blue, red, green, black. .24 gauge. Oh, these are, I just need a tiny bit stripped off of these. How's that? Because of the way the JST plug is, it's easy, or at least in the way I'm holding it. I start with the blue to the top and the crimper. Let me see. The terminal opening towards me, and then I crimp, and what that, if I keep them all the same, on the same plane, then when I plug them into the terminal, I don't have to twist the wires more than I need to get them to seat. So I try to keep everything in line, if that makes sense. So blue, red, and keeping this all in the same, I don't know if that's visible. And there goes the terminal. And making sure we don't crimp something else at the same time. Keep everything else out of the way. Green. Replace the one I dropped. Okay, now one of these. Yeah, the kit came with enough JST. The Linneo kit came with enough JSTs here for this. So, the 4-pin. Came with 4 of them, since this is for a 2.4 kit as well. Then blue, red, green, black. So all those are seated. And then this is going to go right here. And I'll tie all that out of the way later. So now this one. Where are we at? Oh, that's what I'm sorry, I'm reading back in chat. That's one thing I was going to do. I'm connected to Wi-Fi right now. I was going to run a network cable to my computer for this stream, but I forgot. So I think this one we're going to go here. Attached. And then this is would be Z1. Yeah. So this is going to go about over here. Something about that long. Blue, red, green, black. Okay, YouTube says I have an excellent connection now. This done, and then we can move on to, I'm excited to see what it's going to take to install that harness. I know it's going to be a significant time saver. Okay, blue, red, green, black. Okay. The Z-stepper order on the, similar to a V2, starts, what is it, starts at the front left and it goes whatever looking, which, depending on which direction. So this is Z0, this is Z1, this is Z2, or 1, 2, 3. Let's do this guy. I'm gonna go across here like this. Now on the, does anybody know on the octopus if you need to jumper the second, here I'll show you what I mean. So this is, it's labeled motor 2_1 and motor 2_2. This is for printers that have the Z, two Z lead screws or whatever, 2 Z steppers connected to the single stepper output. Do you know if the octopus needs jumpers there? Some of them you need to jump the coils in order for it to work. If we don't know, I'll have to look that up. My switch wires probably would not have with the built-in magnets. Kit, why 4 on that? I've got a couple ideas, but I'm curious what your thoughts are on that. Red, green, black. Okay, now I gotta find the rest of my JST terminals. That's probably what I would do, Sanity. Just put the Z on the other board and everything else on the one. Found them. You're absolutely right, Kit. The inductive probes are affected by the magnets. There are some, I don't know if it made it into mainline clipper yet or not, but there's some work on similar to what Prusa does in avoiding certain areas of the bed. That's something that one of the reasons I want to get my Trident back up and running is to play with that. But you can do, I think you can do exclude areas or exclude points. It's a little more work to set up, but it works for Prusa, so we should be able to get that going. Okay. Where's the last? There it is. And all of this is just kind of laying here. I'll wire manage it after I have the rest of the wires in here, and I print out some zip tie anchors, tie things into place. Okay, thermistor. Bed thermistor, heated bed. Thermistor comes in right here. So that would be this guy right here. And if I want this to go up here, or come in from the end, I guess either one is fine. Oh. Almost forgot. This is PT100, so it's going to go to a step stick. So, and I'm going to install the PT100 step sticks in the last 2 slots, I think. So, let me just make sure I have plenty of room. And I've tried some of the exclusion setups, and it's better, but only by a little. Pin to probe. So I did try. So you're talking about trying the Pinda instead of a Omron or PL08 or whatever. I thought the same thing, that the smaller head of the Pinda might make it have a little narrower detect range, which would make it easier to avoid the magnets, but it doesn't seem to make a difference. I tried to super Pinda, whatever they call it, on it, and it didn't work any different than the Omron. So I'm gonna skip the thermistor wire here since it's going to a PT100 step stick setup for right now. We're gonna go ZN stop instead, which should be right here. Which should be right in here on the board. It's the inner ones. Let's do something like that. Maybe we can kind of do a loose twist on these. Not for anything other than keeping them as one set of cables. And this is just a micro switch. This is just the ZN stop behind the bed. It's not polarized. Doesn't matter which wire goes where. Well, what order the wires go in. It matters where they go. Here should have a 3-pin. disconnect like that. Just gonna twist this a little bit more. Oh, it goes in the third one. Right there. And, oops. Put that behind these wires. On top of that one. And then once again, I'll do some zip tie management there. Yeah, that's the same Omron I've been using is the AliExpress special. Okay, so aside from the thermistor, oh, we got to do ground. We got the bed. Forgot that. So this just goes across and just goes into here. So that's easy. Not too bad. Okay, let's go on to the gantry wiring. We got power. We've got the Z steppers wired. Let's explore what we're gonna have to do for the rest of this wiring. Let's move this up. We might change camera positions here. Here we go. So bear with me. Let's try this. Get away from the screen. So, we have harness kit that was sent to me. It's for the 2.4 and Trident. There's a little card in there that says how to check your stepper wiring if it's not Stepper Online or LDO. And then we have the harness. So, let's start. This is the controller side, and this other is the, so we have controller, and everything is just bundled together right now. Let's go here. Now if we follow this along, first thing we're going to come to is the A stepper connector, and then the B stepper connector. Now on a 2.4, these would all stay basically bundled, and you'd go across the rear to get to the B stepper back here. On mine, I'm probably going to take that harness completely out and run it along this back extrusion. Alternatively, I think you could run it in front and maybe put like a little slot cover in here if you wanted to keep everything going on this side. But there is not room to go on the back. The belts are here. So if we keep going along here, Next thing we're going to get to is the end stop pod and the XY joint. Right here. And then, yeah, that's this. And then the tool head stuff. So the other thing this came with was a little guide for the labels, what they are, and on each you'll see, I think there's HF, so hot end fan, part fan, probe. Why do they label that BL? Oh, bed leveling. Okay. And then the extruder. And then the so here's one problem. So one thing I knew I was going to have to change on my build was for all of my tool heads, I use a 4-pin microfit for the heater cartridge and thermistor. So what I'm going to attempt to do is depin these and switch this to a 4-pin microfit. I've had some success in doing that in the past. We shall see if I continue. So let's just give that a try right now. And then all 5 hooks got it right. So what do we got here? There are a few layers. The only reason I was playing with it today was because I got a few new flex plate. Okay. Not quite. Not sure what you're saying there, Kit. Okay. So to depin these, I pin, like a sewing pin, is what I've used. Let's see what happens. So I'm up. So give me a second. I'm going to try to explain this a little better than just doing. Let's see if I can explain this a little better. If we can get the camera to focus well enough. Let's just grab any old microfit pin here. Let's see what you see. Okay, the way these microfits hold in, and you might be able to see that. Let me see if I can get it over there. There are 2 tabs that come out the sides. So if this is the top, you may be able to see, maybe, the 2 tabs that stick out each side. And it's just little pieces of springy pieces of metal on each side. And what we're going to attempt to do is push those in, and we may destroy them. We may have to replace the terminal, but I've been able to do this previously without being able to just bend them back in place, and it worked fine. Probably wouldn't be able to do it more than once, but so I'm gonna go, if you look at this, I'm gonna go to the sides with the pin. Just pushing the pin all the way in. I'm just expecting that little piece of metal to deform. Oh, ooh, went all the way into my finger there. Oh, see? And that one came out. Pulling on this PTFE wire, just really, it's so slick, or the FAP, or whatever they used here. There we go. So that one is out. So now let's see if we can get the other one, and then we'll try to fix them all. And it looks like everything's good. I think we're going to be successful here, at least on those two. Cat hair. I would not want to do this. Oh, haha! That was... Okay, so now let's see if I can see what you see. All of those little tangs are all pushed in. So now I'm going to take, and I usually just use an X-Acto knife because I got a nice fine tip on the end, nice sharp, and I'm going to go through here and I'm just going to very gently bend these back, and it doesn't take much, and if you bend it too much, you risk breaking them. And like I said, I feel like you get one chance at this. If you bend them back, your chances of the connection failing later is significantly worse. So I'm just reaching under that pin and just tweaking it just to the side. So now, let's see if we can see. If you can see, I don't know if I can't see well enough on the camera. I don't know if that's showing up, but let's just assume it is. And you just have to trust me, it seems to have worked. Woohoo! So the official Molex depinning tool is about 30 bucks, I think. And all I've read is that it breaks super easy. So I've never bought it. Okay, so I need to find, I found these before, I need to find my 4-pin microfits. I don't know if they're in here. This is all my... Nope. I think they're probably in here. What do we got here? So Climax Boy. This is not a kit. This is an LDO frame, rails, steppers. I mean, it's a lot of a kit, but the rest of it's self-sourced. I know LDO has mentioned that a kit is in the pipeline at some point, but I don't know what the timeline is. Okay, bear with me here. Oh, maybe I have some of those in my this kit. I don't. Where are they? I know I have some. Sorry, I didn't anticipate this to be a problem finding these. There's the male side, which means I would assume the other side is in here. There's more. You probably recognize the blue DigiKey bags. This is where I've kind of thrown my miscellaneous connectors that I'm not sure how to organize. So that's a problem. Okay, I'm a little stuck without those, but we'll move on. I will be putting these back into a 4-pin connector, but in the meantime, they get to just sit there. Let's see. Yep, I'll find them, but I don't think it's critical for today's work. It just means that I plug that into the pins later. So what I am going to do is, what did we decide on the LGX or Galileo? What do we got? First response, LGX or Galileo? Okay, looks like we're gonna do LGX. We can swap. Super easy. It'll be really easy. Okay. So let's take the wire cover off for now. I kind of want to try at least printing with the LGX at some point, so this will be good. I can swap to the, let's swap to the Galileo if I do any RCF on this guy. So this is going to go on there. If anybody who wanted Galileo has a specific question on it that I can cover, let me know. But what we're going to do, and my plan here is to make, okay, so here's the big thing. On any of the others, so Clockwork with a regular 20mm stepper, or Galileo with the little round stepper, I need to run these wires, and I usually run them around like this, sorry, just for my own weird reasons. I need to put a connector on it, and the wiring harness is the same as I would have used on any other printer. Uses a 4-pin microfit, which I do have the other side, so we'll be able to do that today. The LGX has a JST 2.0mm connector on the end. So what I'm going to do is make a little adapter harness that's only going to be a yay long for that. And I'm going to use a PTFE. Oh, I wonder if I have a... I might have... No, I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't. But I can use a little PTFE remnants from another stepper connector. Let me grab what I have. I keep containers of, so this is my PTFE wire remnants. We're gonna grab some, I guess I've got other stuff mixed in here too. So I want this to match the cable colors. There we go. This looks like a good length of wire to use. Yojimbo, I am not using a tool head PCB. I'll be running everything individually. Okay. So I've got a little kit of the 2mm JST connectors here, but the camera's in the way, so we're gonna have to bump. Oh. Amazon special JST kits. Let's try that. So on an earlier revision of the board, Yojimbo, there was some traces that were run too close to the head of the mounting screw. Oh, well that's interesting. This particular kit does not have the 6 pins. A plastic washer would fix that, or the newer revisions took care of that as well. And yes, that's a big problem, but it's fixable. Okay, so this is the correct connector for that. And terminals. I have some of the toolhead PCBs, but I won't be putting it on this printer. I may put one on a different printer. Not sure yet. Okay, so I'm gonna start this with just stripping these. Make this little adapter harness. And I believe, isn't this, I think this stepper is made by LDO, right? I thought LDO made these for Bondtech. I'm gonna assume the pinout is the same. And then I've got this guy I'm gonna just use as a blue, red, green, black template. Let's see how these terminals sit. So it's opposite. So we'll go from the bottom up. We're almost 2 hours into this. I think we can still get the wiring harness ran. I think this little fiddly stuff is going to be the longest part. heard it hit plastic, which means it's on my little chair mat. Yep, found it. Okay. Butterfingers. So matching this. Black, green, red, blue, or black. Okay, so that half of the harness will plug in right here, and then I think I'm going to have this do a real quick loop just so I have a little extra wire and come around to here. Just a super short adapter harness. Anything in chat? And I think I lost my music still going, or did my headphones just die? How we just let the YouTube buffer catch up or delay. Should be back. Yep. I think I turned it off with when I took my earbuds out. Okay. Perfect. Okay. So we're just constructing a really short, quick adapter harness for the LGX stepper. This side we have, okay, so we need the female terminals. Not those. Off. What order are these in? Okay, I don't fine. I'm doing this as a harness instead of changing the connector on the Linneo harness. Will allow us to swap back and forth on those extruders a little easier. And I have lost music. Sounds like you guys might have as well. Let's figure out why. Okay, let's see what's going on. Okay, let's try that. Once YouTube catches up, it should be good. Black and red, blue on the technical data sheet for that stepper, and it is an LDO. Thanks, Jeff. So Molex, I don't know. The Molex kit was $50-something. I haven't used many of the connectors. I mean, it's basically 2 pins and 4 pins. So it might not be worth it. It might be easier to buy a bunch of terminals and the connectors you need. Okay. Where did my... Get back in here for those 4-pin... The 4-pin male Molex, which I know are in here because they're there. It is nice to have somewhere to put everything. I just haven't used many of them. So blue, red, green, black. And all it needs to be is in the correct pairs. So this is gonna go like that. So let's go this way. I need to be able to actually see this. Red. As long as we have the pairs correct, worst we'll have to do is invert the signal in firmware. Okay, then I'm just gonna twist this to... Okay, so that's our little adapter harness. Adapter harness to put in the LGX. Yeah, I've bought all my Molex stuff from DigiKey since I'm in the US. I don't know if DigiKey, how global they are or not. But... Okay, so this is going to plug in here. And then this is going to go like that, is how I wire mine. So... let's put that on there and actually attach it to the mount. So I think these 20mm screws for the LGX. I know on a Clockwork you use 2 different sides. The right one is longer so it reaches through, but it looks like 20mm here is what's going to work. we're not ready for that. We want to take the tool head off so we can put the inductive probe on. Okay, so that comes off. All this that we covered in an earlier stream. So now I have a probe. I think I have it in my... So speaking of cheap Ali Omron B fakes, that's what we're going to start with on here. And save your ears from the crinkling of that bag. Okay, so let's pull the belts out of here. This goes in here. Something like that. Got the little retainer bracket that goes behind. And then I think on the Omron you need longer, yeah, I think 25mm screws. Well, how long are these? Yeah, 25s. But first, I want to see if we're looking at the harness. And we have our, so we are a microfit female 3-pin. And where do I want that connector to end up? I do something very wrong on my other printers that I don't really want to duplicate here on stream. So on my other printers, I have taken the chance, and it hasn't bidden me yet, of I have run this probe wire as it comes to this joint, and I put the connector here at this joint. Like I said, it hasn't bidden me yet, but I'm expecting it to, so I won't do that on this one. It's just trying to, since I'm not used to doing that, trying to figure out what the best connector position is, which will determine where I cut this probe wire. So bear with me. I have not had a probe melt. I've got the same Omron probe on the, where's this? Way back here. See a corner of my original V2. Same probe on there. No melting. I've run a Mosquito, I've run a Dragon High Flow, I've run it up to 280 plus C. Haven't had any issues with that. I think I am going to run this up here as well. I don't know if I'm going to love it, but I'm going to run it up next to the stepper connector. Make sure I've got enough wire there. Let's try. I'm just going to go for it. I don't anticipate running an inductive probe on this forever. I expect to swap it out for some alternate solution. Okay. Now we're going to prep the probe with a connector. An alternate connector of some sort. I honestly, I don't know exactly what variant I want to use, but I want to set some printer up with a micro switch based setup. There we go. Okay, let's pull this out of here. So now we've got an inductive probe with the wire cut short. So I'm gonna very gently, I don't know what the best way to strip these is, but I've always just kind of scored it with a knife, hoping I don't go too deep, and often I'll just bend the insulation. There, I got through it there. Just making sure I don't cut the wires inside. There we go. And on here we've got bed leveling. Let's look at the other side. What do we have here? Okay, let's refer to the manual. So I don't believe that Linneo recommends using the probe connector on the Octopus because of some problem. They suggest, and let me see if I can find where is the document. I thought they had some documentation on that. They suggest using the end stops, but what end stops? Let me look at this. So this is the controller side. This is the bed leveling, and it looks like we get power and ground from one connector. And if I use, okay, so I think this can plug into, power and ground can plug into the probe port, and we will use the extruder end stop. So we have, oh, let me switch back over here. So this is the Big Tree Tech GitHub, their pinout, and it's really hard to read, but I believe, so we have J27, 29, 31. I think I'm going to use 33 for the signal, so we'll just remember that for the config. So let's go back. Oh, no, we're done there. That's for the Raspberry Pi. Here. So we're going to use this open end stop, which I think is extruder end stop. And it's conveniently right next to where we're going to get power and ground. Okay. So taking a little extra time here. I don't want to screw this up. Okay, so let's do it. It always trips me up that on these probes, brown is plus 5 volts or plus voltage, not 5. Blue is ground and black is signal. It always messes me up. I'm sure there's some reason for that. I have no idea what. And we are... Which one's it? Yep, those. And a 3-pin microfit, which I have plenty of. But like I was saying, if you look at this thing, there's the 2s, but I've got some, what, 6, 5, and a couple of connectors here that I just will very slowly go through. Okay, so these are connecting in just like that. Just sanity check this so I don't have to depin when I'm done. Yep. There we go. Where are we at? Oh, we're getting jittery again, huh? Can everybody hear me okay? I need to run a network cable over here, it looks like. Okay. So, connector on. We can mount the inductive probe now. There we go. It already recovered. Good. Uh-oh. Where am I at? Okay. And I'm going to set the height on this after I put the tool head back on. Okay, so tool head. I'm just gonna get this really close. didn't realize that little piece of plastic right there. Maybe it's not a problem. Maybe I've got the probe too low. It's a bit low. Yeah, we can go up a bit. Let's see if that is enough. That worked. Okay. And that's about 2 or 3 millimeters above the nozzle tip. There we go. I've got the probe. Hopefully I don't have too much wire on that. LGX. Okay, all those wires hanging out there. Okay, back to the harness. Get this stuff out of the way. I think I am going to start removing, so this is all held together with some looks like twist wire ties, right? Am I seeing that right? Oh no, this is a sinew type. I'm gonna cut all of these. I don't know if it's supposed to stay on there, but I'm gonna want to redo a lot of this anyway. I think that's a sinew, and I think it's supposed to stay in place, but I want to change a lot of. Maybe I'll leave it. Let's see what happens. Okay, I'm gonna have to cut it from the B-stepper back though, because these are all tied and I'm not going to get those untied, and I want to take that B-stepper out of there. So let's just let that hang there. Let's get our cable chains. So we're going to go X cable chain, and I need 18 links for the IGAs. Yep, okay, so I did 20 links, and I think I counted out when I did the Z as well. So we're gonna lock things up. A fixed end. Not the fixed end. I gotta find all my ends. I think they're in this box. Now, I was gonna put that's a super pinda in the pinion adapter. I was gonna put that on this. I don't remember why I didn't. There's the ends. Go. We're going to go there. Do something like that. And I got the ends with these integrated cable management, but I don't know if they're a great idea if they're going to run into range issues or not. So I may end up cutting those off, but I'll leave them for now. Quiet in chat. Everybody still there? Hi, Matt. Awesome. Okay. So this section here, I think I'm going to need to pull this end off first. Okay. So all of this is going to go in the first section. Afterwards. Okay. So let's take this in through here. And we need a M3 T-nut for the end of the cable chain here. I was hoping that would be heard through there. Clicking. Okay. Wire here to keep track of. Make sure I'm not pinching any. Okay. So one end is on. I'm not sure about this sinew thread tying it together. I'm feeling like I might want to cut all of that out, but we'll see. That is true, Jimbo. The Chinese ones are much more difficult to snap together and apart. So I'm just putting one screw in here for right now to just kind of lock things up, see where Okay. Yep, that's okay. I feel like you can probably lose one link with that end. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll drop one link because I kind of like this here to anchor the wire to. This, let's see, this little end of the, I think I showed you this before. They have this wire management little anchor. I kind of like it there, so I might remove one extra link to, so, because when I come to this side, it clears, it's fine, but I don't think I need that much. I don't think I need that much. I don't know if they bend more easily. I haven't really had too much trouble with the generic ones. That's all I've used up to this point. I just bought the IGUS ones because I'd never used them before. I don't think there's any doubt that they're nicer, but I don't know if they're nicer enough. There, I just removed one link. That'll be fine. Okay, so let's see what we got here. Oh, that's something we need to work on. I didn't have the 4010 fan for the ABBN setup, so I need to get that installed and wired up and connectors on it. So yeah, we definitely have enough stuff to work on today without getting to where we're powering it up. All these to pull. Okay, I am going to remove all of these wraps on here. They're handy for keeping it in all together. I think I'm going to have an easier time of getting things lined up and spaced correctly without them. So that was a good test for where things are going, but I got to pull this out to I don't know if the Chinese generic ones do this either, but these they appear to disconnect just as easily from either side. I don't recall those. I think they only go on one side. I could be wrong. Okay, so I'm not going to pull that completely out, so I'm just going to very carefully this stuff seems like it was intended to stay in place, but I am going to remove it. It's a waxy thread. There we go, that looks better. For what they are, I like the Befenebe chains. Okay, I think that's enough of them to pull apart. You ready? And one more. Okay, so now I have some freedom, a little more freedom there. Got at least one other chain worth of those to do. I've got some freedom in changing the lengths of these individually. Where the other screws go. Okay, so this is the probe. So I think I want, what was that, these wires? There we go. I want that to kind of sit in the entrance there. Same with this. I can just push it through. There we go. Those two can sit just like that, maybe. Maybe not. Just sit on top. That'll work. Okay. Then we got our fans, and then I gotta find my connectors for the other one. So now these go up through here. So. Yeah, that's something we can talk about here, Kit. We've got a difference between the ends. There are flexible ends. Sorry, a little extra noise in there. There are flexible ends and then fixed ends. For the IGUS chains, you can, I think by default they come with the flexible, but there are part numbers for fixed ends, which I bought. The Befenebe, the generic chains, one end is fixed, one end is flexible. Depending on what printer I've put together, I've set them up in different ways. I think you can, I think the glare is keeping you from seeing that, but I did the flexible end, so it gives more bend radius. to the wires. On my Tridents, I've done the fixed ends on the tool head and mostly on the tool head, because I want to try to keep it out of the way of the PTFE tube, the filament path. So paying attention to which side, depending on what your goals are for the build, I think is important. On this one, I'm using fixed ends to make sure that the cable chain stays low so it doesn't snag on the filament path. And I saw, there he is. I think we're at 2.5 hours now, so I think it's time for a Charlie break. What's up, Charlie? Say hi, Charlie. Oh, look at that hair. You can see it. I'm going to be cleaning up for days. I'm cleaning up forever. Like some chin scratches. Cat hair everywhere. If somebody has a great, what is he? I'm drawing a blank on the word, but a great model of a cat. And what do you call this coloring? I'm drawing a blank. Someone else know? Whew. Tabby, that's it. Thank you. That's what I was trying to think of. Yeah, Tabby is what I was trying to think of. I was just drawing a blank. Okay, let's see where we're at. We've got the end stop switch wiring. Let's see if we can twist the printer here. See how much Charlie gets in the way. Oh, that might be might have been a better view there. I should probably check to see if this is all so. See what the pinout on this is. So it looks like we've let's look at both ends. Charlie, you're in the way now. Here, go in there. There you go. Whew. There's everywhere. Okay. That's that. Where are the end stops? I think this is the end stops, X and Y. So I believe this is set up for... Well, it shouldn't matter, actually. Let's pull this off. Pulling this off to look at the wiring on this. Okay, Charlie, are you sitting on my glasses? Okay, we're good. every printer install I've done to date has been, or every of this style has been a Hall effect sensor, so I wanted to make sure that I had the wiring correct, that everything was good to go. Okay, so we are good to go, which means this can tuck into the little... I want that to be down. Oh, sorry. I'm trying not to keep showing you the back of my head, if I can avoid it. Yes, Charlie. Okay, let's pull off some more of this. We can get into the Y chain. You were saying? Who's talking about cats not showing something? As he walks by. Okay, Y chain. Okay. Here. I just spread it around. Okay. Now I can't find my little screwdriver. There it is. Oh, and I'm going to take one end off of this, just like I did the other one, because it should be the same. Charlie is a indoor only cat because when we got him, we got his litter mate. Her name was Lola, and anybody with probably about teenager kids now you probably get the reference. We brought them home and within a couple of days realized that Lola was deaf. So that dictated that they were indoor only cats. So now unfortunately Lola didn't make it. She ended up with bladder stones, really bad bladder stones. So Charlie's been an only cat for about the last 4 years. He gets spoiled for it though. Okay, so we're gonna lay this in here. Have another round of cable chain bubble wrap. Yes, he allows. Nice thing. This wire just lays in here so nice. Oop. Let's take this to the inside. And we need a M3 T-nut. I gotta figure out which end was the locking end. So I've got a couple of different ends hanging around here. It's this one. Yep, that was it. I did like the idea of at least putting him on the Trident gallery. I just haven't gotten around to sending RCF the picture. So this will all be cleaned up as I get some of these connectors finalized. But mostly just putting things in place, getting lengths correct. I said I'd like to have the wiring basically done, routed today. Lots of little zip tie cleaning up and pulling the slack in the right directions, but okay, so similar to the LGX stepper. Let's see if I can. I made little, because I was going to use these steppers in another project. I made little pigtails with the microfit end, which fortunately matches the wiring harness. I made these for previously to even deciding to build this printer. I had made those, so they will work out well for this. Okay. I don't know if anybody built a V1.8, but one of the changes I made in Trident was the wiring harness going through here. Previously, there was a hole here, and once you ran your wires through, it was if your connectors didn't fit through, you'd have to cut them off or take them off. So I fixed that with a slot instead, accompanied by a little printed wire cover. This little printed wire cover that goes here and just keeps all those managed and out of the way of your gantry. Let me find the right screw on this because I think it can go in right now. There it is. But yeah, it's like that, and once I zip tie these there, nice and clean. The order that I designed the printer was basically some ideas with the Z setup, the general layout, but then that drew me in the direction of doing skirts because I had to figure out how to get something going fairly quickly, but early on was revising these. Okay, so with these pre-done harnesses, there's a couple of ways that you could run. Let's see if I can maybe move this out of the way. Hey, maybe that'll work. And then there. Okay, so for the B wiring, you could come across here and do some sort of cable or slot cover there to hide the wiring, but I'm not going to. I'm going to take this completely out of the harness and bring it down this back side. So that's why I'm cutting these little ties that hold the harness together. I think I'm at a point where the harness can be cut. It's mostly contained by going through these chains. I think you said it earlier, Jaeger, but is your Trident printing? And how do you like it compared to your 1.8? Yep, there it goes. Sanity told me before YouTube told me. Let's try something. I tried plugging in a wired network. It's not connected, so I'll work on that for next time. Ha. So now our stepper wires are free. Okay, so this bundle of wire, I don't feel like I'm quite ready to tie it in, but it generally comes down here and then enters the deck through this wire cover. I don't quite have these lengths all perfect to run those yet, to be confident enough to tie everything together. What we can do though is that we skipped a step earlier, and that was these little twist in wire anchors, and those just twist in like that. Add a few spots along the way just to attach that along the other thing. Is I want to wrap that. I'm hoping I have something that I can wrap this bundle in. Otherwise I mean, it's kind of cool. It's all black and orange wires, so I could just zip tie them directly and it'd probably look just fine. Kevin, if you run the zip chain next to the extrusion, the Z chain next to the extrusion, then your mount would have to come out here instead of being next to this nice small piece here. You would have to have your anchor come around to another point. If you tried to run your chain along the extrusion, I don't think it would work. If I'm getting what you're saying correctly. What happens if you run the Z chain next to the extrusion? You'd have to do something like this. This little bridge here avoids the other part of the chain, and it would have to be a little piece that went from here to here. I didn't explain that very well, but hopefully you get what I mean. Okay, I was looking for some wire wrap, but I'm not going to be heartbroken if I can't find something that'll be suitable. In fact, I may end up just not using it because I think that would probably look okay with the little bit of orange in there. But if you don't have nice pretty wire like this, then this split loom stuff works really well for this. And I didn't cut this. This is just a piece straight out of my, and that's too long. Well, maybe not, if it goes up there and then down into there. Yeah. This is what I would do if I didn't have cool color matched wiring. And it's really easy to work with. Push it all the way up into the hole in the thing, and then zip tie this to the anchors, and then it'll go down and keep everything nice and tidy. We'll see. I'll decide later on if I want to keep that or just run the wires bare. Actually, I think I'm going to run the wires bare. So the A motor should be this one. Can plug into the harness here, and then I'm going to take the wire cover off for a minute. And this stuff can all go into the deck. Okay, I'm going to have to do this kind of strategically. Stagger them. Yep. just take a zip tie and very loosely hold those in place. The expectation that I'll probably redo that later. At least get things that's all of them. Yeah, I like that. So the one little thing I'm looking at, trying to figure out what I'm going to do, just looking at the harness, is the end stop pod wiring here. It's all loose wires and it's pretty thin gauge. It's popping out of here pretty easily. I don't know if I want to try to throw maybe a little bit of tape on it or something to give it a little more of a friction fit in this slot. We'll see what it ends up doing once I get things anchored and zip tied over here. It might be okay, but just something to look at and figure out. Well, that's gonna go like that. LEDs I'm going to take up this side, up the B stepper side. That's what I did so I put LEDs on the purple Trident, and I just ran them all up this other side because there's plenty of space. I was even able to run them in the extrusion and just run some covers. Okay, so this is an awful lot of wire. I'm probably going to loop it on the bottom side. Let's see what that looks like. Let's put this cover back on. Where'd my screwdriver go? There it is. Hot glue? Hot glue what? All the things. I know you said that, but let's be a little more specific. Okay, let's look at the bottom. Over here we can almost fits. Yeah. Let's put this over here. That's the B stepper wiring. Let's go this way. Here we are. Okay. Well, let's get some camera angles going. Oh, I see. Okay, so this is our bundle of wires. We could go anywhere in here we want. I wonder if I did this just to use up some of that wiring instead of, or I can do so I'm going to do some little stick-on zip tie mounts here just to control some of this and keep it tight to the deck. I'm gonna grab just some zip ties to just kind of control these since I cut all those. I wouldn't mind trying to do some raceway setup on all my printers so far. I try to keep everything easy to service but clean, and holy moly, look at that hair. But raceways I think would work pretty well for that, because you can open them up and get to everything. Running everything in braided sleeving and stuff makes it tough to deal with, though. Okay, so this is probably the hot end. Yep, heater 0. And if we go over to this handy diagram, if I can find my mouse. LEDs are called out, that's funny. Let's see. Maybe if I know I'm fumbling here, just kind of trying to figure this out. If I take some of these over in that direction. Take some of these some ways and some of them in other ways. If I was doing this from scratch, I'd pick a route that I want the wires to go and cut everything to the right length, but I want to use this. Oh, that'll work. Take it up and then over here. I want to use this harness as I got it to see how clean it can be made. Let's just do some temporary, not necessarily tightening it, but okay, if I take that way, and that's another wire we got to deal with. I can kind of come around each side. This is the A stepper, which they call X. Is that what we actually use? Okay. Kind of funky, but extruder. What do I have? The extruder. Yeah, so that would be the same thing. Let's put that right there. So the plan, I think at this point, is I'm going to finish up kind of loosely laying these out before we call it for the day. Anybody have any questions you want me to cover while I'm just kind of fiddling around with this? This is the just fiddling around with layout and wire routing. And then for the next stream, we'll start with we'll start by zip tying all these wires into place and hopefully start working on first moves. So that was the end stop, the probe, the inductive probe. So I used power and ground from the probe connector and signaled to, I think it's the extruder end stop. And that's based on Linneo's suggestion that, and I think that's based on some problems people have been having with something on the probe, on the octopus specifically. I will be doing, yeah, I designed ages ago. I mean, you can find probably 100 of them out there, but I just designed some quick zip tie anchors that I use, and I just didn't get around to printing. I didn't print any of the panel clips too, so I'll have those printed for next time too. But they just stick down with VHB. Part fan, where is, let's see, where is part fan? Print cooling fan. So I think that'll go around here as well. Just using up some of this length. Kind of hug the whole controller, surrounded in harness stuff. This will look a lot neater once it's set up. In general, something we have to do, maybe we'll do right now. Let me finish this and then we'll go a little long today. Go a little longer today and do the ABBN wiring. And then we have the end stops. So which one is X and which is Y? Red or blue or green? I mean, blue or green? Let's see. Where did I put that? Is there any indicator here? No. Which one is X and which one is Y? Might be able to see on the... Looks like X is green. X is green. That's this guy. And Y is blue. Just the way they labeled the wires. Okay. So that is a rat's nest, but it will get better, I promise. This is just functionally, this is about where things will go. I'll tie things together and anchor them, and it'll look 100 times better. Maybe 50 times better. There we go. Starting to get there. So, this guy. This is where. So, oh, that's a good point, Sanity. I mean, just out loud. The idea here is I'll be using. I'm going to use one of these touch screens, the Waveshare DSI. Oh, sorry for the noise. One of these guys for the display. I already have printed. So this is another user mod. When I go to do this, I'll show on the thing, the mount. The guy did a really good job. Sorry, whoever did a really good job with that design. So that will be the display. And for the, I'll probably be running UART and power. And if I have trouble, then I have a USB cable for communication. But I'll be powering the Pi off of the Octopus, so I figure I might as well run the UART cables at the same time. I actually gathered all the stuff up to do that today, but we're over 3 hours right now, so I want to kind of finish, probably finish this ABBN part cooling off, and that will actually make the thing look, appear a lot more complete. So let's pull these wires out. Let's see here. Okay, so I think I talked about the modifications needed for the fan on one of the previous streams. Namely that you cut off the little ears, the mounting ears. And I don't see one around here that I haven't already cut the ears off. So in order for it to fit in here and not have a lot of extra material, you cut the mounting tabs off. Then there's a little printed spring piece that holds it in place, and then this cover on the back that holds everything in. So what I was missing last time when I wanted to wire all this up was the hot end fan. Now figuring out how the wiring, I think this is going to go in there. I think that goes in there like that. There with the wiring exiting the top. And then I think it follows along this little wiring path. And then this cover goes on here. And snaps into place with these two wires sticking out right there. I need to remember. So I didn't use the de-earring tool. I held it against the edge of my bench in the garage and used a hacksaw. So I haven't printed or tried to use the de-earring tool. Okay. So, well, that doesn't help. Go up a little bit. So now I got to figure out wire length here. So this is going to go just like that. And I have two connectors here. So basically, just straight back. Looks like two. And I'm just going to take a gamble and a guess and just cut those right there. Now, if it was me, and if it was me, and let's try this. I've got, let's try this with the, give me a second. That was a 4.3 inch, the M-Wave, Wave Share, whatever display. I bought it off Amazon. So I know this is going to be a little bit of shaky cam, but these are the fan connectors. One of these is part fan, one of them is hot end fan. If it was me, I would have changed the gender on these and run one gender and one the other. So that's okay. They are nicely marked at least. So that's the hot fan, the heater fan, and that's the I think it's focused just enough. That's the park fan. So that's okay. If it was, like I said, if I was doing this from scratch, I would have either put these into a 4-pin connector or did one gender and one the other. But what we're going to do is grab my microfit kit again and just put the grab the 2-pin male housings and the female terminals. Should have 4 of them. And then grab my scraps of heat shrink tube lengths and see if I have a piece that'll fit around all 4 of these. I think I have to go to my other box. I want to tie a short section of those together with heat shrink tube. Let's find wish this is a little better organized, but that'll work. So I'm going to take just a short length here just to clean it up a little bit. That little section between the where it's exposed before it gets under the wire cover. Oh, I did a little too much there. Yeah, that'll work. I'll put you on mute for a second while I run the hot air gun. Now, Sanity, if you were talking about what wire goes to which fan in this, I did note that the heavier gauge wire goes to the hot end fan and the lighter gauge. You can't probably tell that on camera, but it's pretty obvious in person. Jeff, yeah, this is the piece. It goes right like that. And then this goes on there. I had it, I just didn't show it. Slowing down a little bit. Okay, let's get this done. So I've got that. polarity these go in at. And this is the hot end fan. Oh, hey, caught it. So hot end fan. Right, like that. And part fan. Just the same. Seems reasonable. So Jeff, this is the first experience I have with the ABBN. I had not even tried to install it previously, so I'm not quite sure how it's going to go either, but I'm sure it's going to go fine. Bad Noob, the designer, seems to know what he's talking about, and it gets good feedback from people. So, oh, there's the screw. I'm gonna find where all my screws went. There it is. There we go. Nice and solid. Now we got a bunch of wire management to do here. I gotta hope that the wire cover still goes over the top of all of it. So what do we got left? So next stream we are going to finish this. I'll find that connector. I'll probably clean up some of the wiring between streams. Tie all this together, and I'll have all the panel clips printed. We'll at least put the back panel on and then work on the other panels after we make it move. But next stream hopefully we'll be going over the configuration and start it moving. So let me tweak the camera. Thanks again for joining me. We're gonna call it now. Almost 3.5 hours today. So I think we're at one more stream for this if everything goes well. So thanks again. See you next week.